Self-discipline is not about punishment. It's not about restriction, suffering, or constant self-denial. Self-discipline is about power, quiet power, the kind that doesn't announce itself but shows up in everything you do or fail to do. Every person you admire, every leader, visionary, athlete, or creator, has one thing in common. They learned to master themselves before mastering anything else. Talent may give you a head start, but without discipline, it dies in potential. The truth is, most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they lack consistency. Self-discipline is what bridges the gap between intention and result. It's what gets you out of bed when motivation is gone. It's what makes you keep pushing when your emotions scream quit. It's what separates those who dream from those who do. Without it, dreams decay. But discipline doesn't come naturally to most. It's not a switch you flip. It's a mindset you build, one small choice at a time. It begins with doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Discipline means choosing long-term growth over short-term gratification. And that's hard. That's why few achieve it. But those who do, those who train their mind like a muscle, become unstoppable. In this video, we're not just talking about developing habits, we're reshaping your identity. Because true discipline isn't about forcing yourself. It's about becoming someone who naturally does what's necessary. It's about developing a growth mindset, a belief that you can improve, learn, and evolve no matter where you started. If you combine that belief with relentless self-discipline, there is no dream out of reach. Let's start building the mindset that refuses to settle, refuses to quit, and refuses to be average. It begins now. With this first decision, commit to your growth. Motivation feels good, but it's unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. One day you're fired up and focused. The next, you're distracted, tired, and uninspired. If you rely on motivation, you'll only show up when you feel like it. And that's a dangerous place to be because feelings lie. Feelings shift. Feelings aren't facts. That's why the people who win in life don't depend on motivation. They depend on discipline. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you going when the fire burns low. Discipline is the engine that runs when your emotions are empty, when your body's tired, when the crowd isn't cheering, when no one is watching. That's where real growth begins, in the silence, in the struggle, in the mundane. Think about it. How many times have you set a goal, felt excited, made a plan, and then stopped halfway, not because you couldn't do it, but because you didn't feel like doing it anymore? That's where discipline would have changed everything. Because discipline doesn't wait for a perfect mood or a lightning bolt of inspiration. It shows up anyway. This is the hard truth. Your feelings will betray you. They will tell you to take it easy, to do it later, to quit. But your destiny doesn't wait. Your calling doesn't pause until you're ready. And greatness never bows to comfort. So the question is, are you willing to do what's hard when it's hard? Can you train yourself to show up without applause? That's what separates the exceptional from the average. It's not brilliance. It's not luck. It's daily discipline, stacked, compounded, and repeated. Don't chase motivation, build discipline. The kind that gets stronger every time you honor your commitment over your comfort. Because the day you do that consistently is the day everything starts to change. Here's a brutal truth. Comfort is seductive. It lures you with ease. It tells you you've done enough when you're just getting started. Comfort whispers lies that sound like love. You deserve rest, take it slow, you don't need to push. But behind those sweet lies is a trap that keeps millions stuck. Growth doesn't live in comfort. It lives in challenge, in discomfort, in sweat and repetition and intentional effort. Every great person, every world-class athlete, visionary leader, high achiever, has had to make peace with pain. Why? Because transformation demands sacrifice. It requires you to let go of the shallow pleasures of now for the deeper satisfaction of later. When you avoid discomfort, you also avoid progress. You stay in your safe zone, but that safe zone becomes your prison. It's where dreams die slowly. It's where potential is buried under excuses. Self-discipline pulls you out of that pit. It teaches you to do what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or intimidating. Do you want to grow? Then get used to hearing no from your impulses. Get used to denying yourself shortcuts, distractions, and temptations. Growth requires boundaries. Discipline is those boundaries in action. Without it, your life is reactive. With it, your life becomes intentional. Discipline isn't punishment, it's alignment. It's telling your body, we're not skipping this workout. It's telling your mind, we're not quitting this book halfway. It's telling your spirit, we're not backing down from this challenge. The truth is, your greatness is buried under what's easy. And the longer you cling to comfort, the longer you postpone your breakthrough. So decide today, will you choose what's comfortable or will you choose what will make you great? Your future self is watching. What would you want them to thank you for? You won't always feel like doing the right thing. That's a fact. If you're waiting for motivation, you'll be waiting your entire life. Feelings are unstable. One moment you're on fire, the next you're doubting everything. But habits are stable. Habits are dependable. And self-discipline means you train yourself to live by principle, not by mood. People with a growth mindset don't ask, do I feel like it today? They ask, what needs to be done regardless of how I feel? That's power. That's maturity. The people who win in life are not the ones who are the most talented. They're the ones who are the most consistent. When you repeat something over and over, it becomes automatic. That's how you rewire your brain. That's how you condition your body and spirit to obey your higher calling, not your lower urges. And here's the secret. Every small disciplined action, repeated daily, compounds into massive transformation. Wake up early even when you're tired. Read when your brain says scroll. Go to the gym when your body says rest. Pray when your spirit feels dry. Study when distractions scream louder. Do it anyway. Feelings are fleeting, but the results of discipline are permanent. You're not building a better mood, you're building a better future. Emotions change, but habits shape your identity. If you want to change your life, don't change your feelings, change your routine. Make your habits so strong that your excuses can't survive. Most people think discipline is restriction. It's not, it's respect. When you discipline yourself, you're saying to your future, I care about you, I honor you. I'm willing to delay temporary pleasure to protect your long-term peace. That's love, that's leadership, that's legacy. The undisciplined life is a chaotic life. It's ruled by cravings, distractions, and regret. But the disciplined life, it's ruled by clarity, control, and peace. You cannot have true peace without discipline, because without it, you are always one impulse away from destruction. Self-discipline isn't you being hard on yourself, it's you being serious about yourself. It's not about being rigid, it's about being rooted in values, rooted in purpose, rooted in your why. And when your why is strong enough, your will becomes unshakable. You have to look in the mirror and ask, am I living in a way that respects the person I was created to be? Every time you choose discipline, you vote for your higher self. You vote for your vision, your future, your calling. And every time you break that discipline, you pay the price. Through anxiety, regret, or missed opportunity. Discipline is not the enemy, it's the armor that guards your destiny. Put it on, walk in it, wear it with pride. Because one day, all the sacrifices will make sense, and you'll realize you didn't miss out on anything. You gained everything. Every battle of self-discipline begins in the mind. Before you win against procrastination, laziness, temptation, or fear, you have to win against the voice inside your head. That inner critic, the one that says, you're not good enough, you'll never change, or it's too late. That voice is your first enemy. And if you don't silence it, it will sabotage your progress before you even start. But here's the truth. That voice is not the voice of truth. It's the echo of past failure, fear, and insecurity. It thrives on your inaction. It feeds on your doubts. The more you hesitate, the louder it gets. The only way to weaken it is by acting in spite of it. Self-discipline is not just about doing things. It's about defeating thoughts that keep you from doing things. People with a growth mindset don't ignore negative thoughts. They challenge them. They replace lies with truth. When the mind says, I can't, they say, why not me? When the mind says it's too hard, they say, that's why I'm doing it. Every time you push past resistance, you rewire your brain to believe in your strength instead of your fear. You must become the gatekeeper of your thoughts. You don't entertain every idea. You don't accept every mental limitation. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean it belongs there. Not every feeling deserves a reaction. Not every voice deserves your attention. Train your mind like a warrior. Speak to yourself with strength. Affirm your mission daily. Your internal dialogue becomes your external reality. If you want power in your life, it starts with power in your thinking. Your mind is a battlefield, and discipline is the weapon. Use it, master your thoughts, and you will master your future. Motivation is a spark, but habits are the fire. Self-discipline doesn't rely on how you feel, it relies on what you do repeatedly. A growth mindset understands that lasting change isn't about waiting for inspiration. It's about building systems that keep you moving, even when you're tired, unmotivated, or discouraged. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common. They've trained themselves to show up daily, whether they feel like it or not. Because results aren't birthed in the moments of passion, they're built in the trenches of consistency. Your feelings are unreliable, but your habits, they become your second nature. Start small. Pick one habit that aligns with your growth. Reading, journaling, working out, praying, waking up early, and lock it in. Don't wait until it's convenient. Discipline begins where convenience ends. Automate it, schedule it, repeat it. Over time, what once felt like a chore will become a part of your identity. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Small habits, done daily, compound into transformation. That's the secret. Ordinary actions done with extraordinary consistency. That's how empires are built. That's how weak men become strong. That's how confused minds find clarity, through disciplined, deliberate daily habits. So ask yourself, what are your habits preaching to your future? What kind of tomorrow are you building with the choices you repeat today? Break the cycle of inconsistency. Choose one habit today and let it change the trajectory of your life. You want success, growth, mastery? Then you have to fall in love with repetition, not just results, not just rewards, repetition. Here's where most people fail. They romanticize the end goal but hate the grind. They want the body but not the reps. They want wisdom but not the reading. They want results but not the discipline it takes to repeat the same action day after day, when nobody's clapping, when progress feels slow, when it's boring. But here's the truth. Greatness grows in the mundane. Champions are not made on stage. They're made in empty gyms, in quiet mornings, in uncelebrated hours of practice. When nobody's watching, when there's no applause, that's where discipline is formed. A growth mindset understands this deeply. Boredom isn't the enemy. It's the evidence that you're doing the work. Repetition is the soil of transformation. Every time you show up, especially when it's not exciting, you're sculpting your future. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, long after the emotion that started it has faded. It's being committed to the process even when it feels dry, dull, or invisible. The ones who win aren't the most talented, they're the most consistent. Stop chasing hype. Fall in love with the process. Let repetition become your training ground for greatness. Remember, the boring things you do in secret become the breakthroughs you display in public. Self-discipline isn't just about what you do, it's about who you believe you are. You can't outwork a broken identity. If you constantly tell yourself, I'm lazy, I always procrastinate, or I'm not a disciplined person, your actions will mirror that belief. Because your behavior always follows your identity. Here's the key. Shift your self-talk. Stop saying, I'm trying to be disciplined, and start saying, I am a disciplined person. Why? Because your brain obeys your words. Identity precedes behavior. When you begin to identify as someone who shows up, someone who finishes, someone who grows daily, you act in alignment with that truth. This is the mindset shift that transforms temporary motivation into lifelong momentum. Start by affirming your new identity. Say it out loud, write it down, declare it until your actions catch up. I am focused, I follow through, I grow through challenges. Your current reality may not match it yet, but speak it until it does. Scripture says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. What you meditate on becomes your mindset, and your mindset becomes your lifestyle. Choose carefully. You're not here to merely try, you're here to transform. Redefine who you are. And from that new identity, discipline becomes natural, not forced. It's not about fighting against your nature. It's about upgrading it. Discipline isn't just about self-control. It's about self-concept. Excuses are the language of limitation. Every time you say, I'm too tired, I don't have time, or I'll do it tomorrow, you're negotiating with your destiny. And the longer you negotiate, the further you drift from greatness. Self-discipline shuts down the courtroom of excuses. It stops letting feelings vote. It declares, this is who I am, this is what I do, period. The truth is, life doesn't care about your reasons. Results don't come to the most comfortable, they come to the most committed. Growth-minded people don't entertain excuses, they execute regardless of the obstacle. Look around, someone with less time, less talent, fewer resources is outworking you. Why? Because they chose discipline over distraction. They stopped waiting for ideal conditions and started building their future in the middle of the storm. Here's the shift. Excuses feel safe, but they keep you stuck. They protect your ego but destroy your future. If you want results, you must sacrifice the comfort of your excuses. So stop giving yourself an out. Burn the bridges. Remove the backup plans. Be so committed that your only option is forward. Discipline doesn't whisper, it commands. It doesn't ask for permission, it leads. This is your wake-up call. Kill the excuses, or they'll kill your calling. Self-discipline isn't something you master once. It's a muscle you flex daily. Every day you wake up with a choice, give in to comfort or rise in purpose. There is no middle ground. Either you're training your mind to grow, or you're letting your habits regress. Most people lose not because they're incapable, but because they expect a one-time breakthrough to carry them through a lifetime of resistance. But greatness doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from thousands of small moments. Decisions made when no one's watching, when you don't feel like it, when quitting would be easier. That's where discipline is forged. In the mundane, the early mornings, the focused hours, the skipped distractions. These choices become your edge. Think of it like sharpening a blade. If you sharpen it once and never return, it gets dull. The same is true for your mind, your habits, your self-control. You must return to the grindstone, daily, even when you're tired, especially when you're tired. Here's the truth. Discipline is like compound interest. It doesn't look impressive in the moment, but over time, it builds unstoppable momentum. And just like with finances, those who are consistent win. Those who delay miss out. So, make the decision every day. Before your feelings wake up, command your morning, own your time, recommit to the vision. Because your destiny isn't found in one moment of hype, but in a lifestyle of discipline. There are two types of pain in life, the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. One weighs ounces, the other weighs tons. One is temporary, the other is permanent. Which one are you choosing? The pain of discipline is waking up early when you don't feel like it. It's saying no to distractions. It's showing up when others quit. But that pain is productive. It stretches you, builds you, prepares you for what's next. The pain of regret is different. It lingers, it haunts. It shows up when opportunities have passed and you're left wondering, what if I had tried harder, shown up earlier, stayed consistent? Many people are living in quiet regret, not because they weren't talented, but because they chose comfort. They picked the easy route and ended up in the hard life. Discipline demands sacrifice up front, but delivers rewards that last. Growth-minded people understand this. The pain is inevitable, but the type of pain is your choice. They embrace short-term struggle to avoid long-term suffering. They choose the narrow road now to walk in freedom later. So the next time you're tempted to slack off, ask yourself, is this moment worth the lifetime of what I might lose? Let that question fuel your focus. Let it harden your resolve. You are made to carry the pain of purpose, not the pain of potential wasted. Self-discipline doesn't stick when it's just about willpower. It sticks when it becomes part of your identity. That's why people fail to maintain good habits. They try to change what they do without changing who they are. Your habits flow from your self-image. If you believe you're lazy, no amount of discipline will last, because your subconscious will sabotage your efforts. But if you begin to see yourself as someone who is focused, resilient, and driven by purpose, everything changes. Discipline becomes natural, automatic. This is the difference between saying, I'm trying to be consistent, versus I'm a consistent person. One is effort-based, the other is identity-based. One is temporary, the other is transformational. So how do you shift your identity? By aligning your actions with your desired future, even before you feel ready. Start telling yourself a new story. Act in accordance with your vision, not your history. Rewire your inner dialogue. I show up. I don't quit. I value growth. I live on purpose. Identity-driven discipline is stronger than motivation. Why? Because it's rooted in who you believe you are. When that belief aligns with your purpose, you become unstoppable. Start asking yourself, what would a disciplined version of me do right now? Then act like it, again and again, until it's no longer an act, it's who you are. Most people crave growth without discomfort. They want to level up but avoid the weight. But real growth never happens in ease. It happens in resistance. Just like your muscles need pressure to grow, your mindset needs challenges to expand. Discipline means choosing discomfort on purpose. Not because you're a masochist, but because you understand this. Resistance is the gateway to mastery. Your comfort zone is a prison decorated with convenience. It's where dreams go to die, disguised as rest. Every time you run from discomfort, you forfeit the version of you that was waiting on the other side of it. Start to love the burn of discipline. Celebrate the struggle. Smile when it's hard. Why? Because it means you're getting stronger. You're building grit, focus, and mental resilience. Those are rare traits, and they're only earned in the fire. Want a growth mindset? Then stop fearing tension. Start welcoming it. Let every hard moment become a test that builds your endurance. Not every day will be easy, but every hard day makes you better. Remember this, pain is the proof that you're evolving. And the ones who embrace it, they don't just grow, they dominate. This is the final truth. The most powerful person in any room is not the loudest, richest, or smartest. It's the one who has mastered themselves. Because when you can rule your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, nothing can stop you. Self-discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. You will fall. You will fail. But growth-minded people don't stay down. They rise with lessons. They bounce back sharper, wiser, stronger. Your future is not written in the stars. It's written in your choices. Every disciplined act is a vote toward the person you're becoming. And the more votes you cast, the more confident, capable, and courageous you become. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start. Start now with what you have, where you are. Because action builds clarity, action builds momentum, action builds you. You want transformation? Master yourself. That's the key. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where God is calling you to be. Cross it daily. Your future self is watching. Make them proud. Stay committed, stay focused, and never forget, your growth is your responsibility.